So I think number 6, this one out of 9. This has 4 of the original type USB on it. I'm just struggling to look down inside here to see if this is AGP. I think it might be. It's very dark down in there. Has a beige driving, so possibly has a bit of age to it. Batch PC. Or is it botch PC? No, it's batch PC. It says on the front of it, probably blurred for you guys. Let's have a look, see if this is anything worth having. This one has screws in it. As I mentioned, I didn't actually open most of these. But this has on the back of it, this is why I didn't bother. It has parallel, it has serial, and I'm confident looking down here this is an AGP machine. That's why I didn't open it up to go any further than that. Okay, and I was right. Very dirty, but we have another MSI motherboard Pentium 4. I seem to find at least one of these every week at the car boot sale. They must be really quite common still, and they do fetch a bit of money. There's profit to be made. All the capacitors are trashed on this one, I can see. Let's take this apart. The capacitors are all really bad. Looks like an MSI graphics card as well. I've removed the worst of the dust from this. I think we had one of these before, MS7181. Yeah, on the last video I made, they were worth about £30. We have the graphics card, which is an ATI. There are some really quite valuable AGP graphics cards, but I don't believe this is one of them. I'm pretty sure we'll find this is a Radeon 9600. I have, on one of my machines, I have the HD 3450, and that's reasonably valued. I think it's the HD 3850, 3870 that are really quite valuable, and I mean well over £100. But we can have a look, but I'm pretty sure that's a Radeon 9600 and not really worth anything. The capacitors on this one really are bad. Yeah, they've pretty much all gone. Now, I mentioned on the last video that my vacuum desoldering tool is broken. I've ordered some spare parts. So what I'll do with this, I think, is just figure out which is the plus and minus, effectively the capacitors. And I'll just take some of the capacitors and just stick them to the back of the board. Just solder them across where the capacitors go. Temporarily, just strap a few of them on there. And I should be able to power this up. If it's working, or at least if it boots up, because that's all I'll bother to test it, without the proper capacitors in there, then I will recap this. I know basically what the motherboard is worth. So let's do this. To get down here, I'm actually going to take the heatsink off and hope the CPU doesn't come with it. It didn't. We may as well see if this is one of the valuable ones, but I don't think so. If it's a 3.4 gigahertz, we are definitely in the money. But I'll bet it's a 2.8. Well, actually, I'm completely wrong, because this isn't a Pentium 4 at all. It's an Athlon 64. And this is the ADA 3000, which I think actually sells for a few pounds. Okay, there, Athlon ADA 3000. We can look that one up. For now, let's just pull these capacitors out. I'll probably just leave the one good one there, so when I eventually get round to it, I know what value they are. As I say, I'll just stick a few in temporarily and see if it works. This should be fairly simple. I'll take the heatsink fan off as well, CPU fan. So these are the capacitors, and I'm just going to pull a few of them out. Get a bit of leaded solder on here. Okay. Might need a bit of flux, but we'll see. We'll go to get the end one. I'm just going to grab it with my fingers, heat up both pins, and this should just come out the board. Yeah, it came out easily. Yeah. Let's have another one from a bit further along the other end. Why not? Okay. This does want a bit of flux. Better. Out it comes. So there's another one. What are these capacitors? Well, they're 1800 6.3 volt, okay? I actually managed to get one of the holes to clear. Probably won't get the other one because of the ground plate. Well, actually I did. Okay, so there's one there. And one there. Yeah, I can see through the board. So what I'm going to do is now, as a temporary fix, is put a couple of like 3300s in. So this is almost equivalent to 4 of the other ones. I'm going to put one in either end, and I should be able to power this up now. It is marked positive on the red, so I'll just drop one in here. Not all the way, just put it part way in for now. Yeah, same this end. Okay, and then I can try it. I mean, to be quite honest, I can fit 4 of these actually, and that would do the same job as all the other ones. Okay. If they don't work, I'm going to leave the legs nice and long. I can always take them back out and use them on something else. Not a problem. Okay. That'll do. That will do. With them in there, I'm quite happy to boot this up into the operating system actually and see if it runs. I'll just check then for shorts on the 12 volts, especially as this has bad capacitors. Let's see. Yeah, so that side's connected to ground anyway, and the other side we shouldn't read short. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we can connect the power to this, no problem. Sometimes the bad capacitors can actually blow the MOSFETs. Okay, and let's see if this is working. I think this combo of CPU and motherboard is worth about £50 in actual fact. It starts, it bleeps. Does this thing have onboard graphics? Yeah, it does, so we can try that first and then we can try the graphics card afterwards. Okay, once again I'll put the other camera where you can see the screen, and let's see if it will boot. It's bleeping about something. Oh, 3 times. That might be something to do with the RAM actually. I'll take the RAM out. Let's see if it does the same without any RAM. Yeah, it sounds like it does. 3 times. But yeah, the third one was a bit shorter, so this is definitely RAM. Quite probably just dirty contacts. They look very dusty. Yeah, these look a bit corroded. I'll clean them. See if we can find a rubber, a pencil with a razor or rubber on the end. There's about the best thing to do this with, but I can't just lay my hands on one, so I'll just use a bit of ISO. This also does a reasonable job of it. Get more dust out of it, and then I'll just reseat it several times. Okay. Didn't do very well that time, try again. Yeah, a bit of a clunk. Same with the other one. That sounded pretty good. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Want some more with this one. Doesn't sound quite as good, but let's try it. Okay. Still bleeping on that RAM. Okay. Take one of them out. Try that. Now it doesn't bleep. But I don't get anything on the screen. No blue light. Okay. Just one in this slot. Doesn't like it. Try the other one. Okay. Doesn't like it. I noticed it's switching on by itself now. That may be the CMOS battery. I will try changing it. Okay. Right. Get rid of this. Actually, I'll measure it just to see what it reads. CMOS battery is completely flat. So we can find another one. Okay. Try that one. Yep, 3.3. Nearly. Give that a go. Now it doesn't start by itself, but it's still giving this bleeping. I'll try some more RAM. This is just normal DDR. If it doesn't like this, I'll clean the sockets. Now it didn't bleep, but nothing on the monitor. Oh, the monitors fell out, that won't help. VJ Ketchford fell out. Okay, this one just bleeps like there is no RAM. I tried several other strips. I cleared the slots. I tried reseating the CPU. Didn't make any difference. I think with this one, maybe if I recap it properly, which is the rest of these ones here, and there's a few more low voltage or 6.3s here. There's some here around these MOSFETs. I'm guessing one of these or here is probably the RAM supply. So I will try recapping this one and then see if it wants to detect the RAM. In the meantime, I'll just put this one on one side. Let's have a look at the other three machines, and if this is the only one giving us any serious problems, we'll come back to it and let's see if by recapping it we can get it to work. While I'm doing that, I'm going to actually remove the CMOS battery from this one and leave it sitting on one side with no CMOS battery for a while, see if it wants to do anything after that. Like, you know, this will effectively clear the CMOS. So let's put that one on one side and let's have a look at the other ones for now. I'll keep hold of this though, hopefully test this in the next machine if it's working. Here is the next one then, 3 beige drives in this one, DVD-ROM, CD writer and another DVD writer. Okay, so that's what's in it, beige. So hopefully we have some money there. This I don't think is as old as it looks. And the main reason being that I can look down the gap. And I think, yeah, this is PCIe. This is not AGP. So although it looks like an old beige machine, it's actually PCIe. I have no idea what's actually in it. It has a parallel port, serial port. I'm guessing this is probably another 775. I think that was the first generation that had PCIe. Yeah. Did it come off? One more bump, sorry about this, guys. Yeah, no, try top end. It's off. Okay. We have ASRock P4i945. Do you know? I don't know exactly what that is. I really don't know exactly what this is. I'll have to look that one up. I mean, this looks like a P4, but it has. It looks very much like a P4478 heatsink. It doesn't look anything like a 775 heatsink, but it has PCIe. Okay. I think this might be an AMD machine. In fact, yeah, isn't this the same chipset as that other one we looked at, 945, which was an Athlon 2, I think. It's quite clean. Obviously a complete machine. Hard drive in there. This optional drive is disconnected. One strip of RAM. Firewire card and a modem. All looking quite clean, well, apart from the dust here. Let's look for some shorts on this and let's try it. Power spout is quite nice. Gold coloured fan cover on it. And this heatsink also is rather nice. It's all copper with what looks like heat pipes in it. Capacitors look okay on this one. Check for shorts, power it up. Ohms. It's okay. Light bulb, I'll put the camera on for you. Okay, up there. Yeah, gold coloured thing on the back of the power supply as well. It's only a 420 watt, it's nothing big. Okay. We are ready, I think. Okay, so you can see the light bulb. Let's see what it does. That's fine, yeah, that's good. Switch her off, power her up. Does it start? Yes. No bleeps, but I don't know if there's actually a speaker on this. Oh yeah, one bleep, so probably working. Let's get the monitor. Yeah, Windows XP, booting. So this is a working machine. I'll get a keyboard and mouse. Password on it. Another bleep. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just a thought. But this appears to be a good working machine. I think we'll just have a look to see if we can tell in the BIOS maybe, or just by physically looking what CPU we have on this, and then we can just see if it's actually worth any money. Okay. It is a Pentium 4. Well, there you go, guys. Pentium 4, 2.53 gigahertz. Yeah. It is a Pentium 4 with PCIe. Interesting. Do we find any other information in here about the hard drive, for example? It is an IDE hard drive. Doesn't really tell us anything. Oh, we have the model number there. I think that's a 200 gig probably. ST3200 822A. I can have a quick look. Yes, 200 gigabyte hard drive. So we know the CPU. We know the hard drive. We know the motherboard. P4i945GC. Let's see if it's worth anything. Well, I don't see any sold ones. Let's have a look in for sale. I'm really not finding these motherboards particularly. Okay, now I'm finding with the name ASRock on, people trying to sell them. But again, I need to check in the sold listings. Let's have a look. No, none have sold, so I'm going to have to put this one down as not worth anything. But we do have the 3 optical drives, which we can put down at £12 each. So a little bit more money on the total, but nothing really major. I think we'll have a look at the last 2 machines. I know they're the oldest machines. So hopefully we actually have something worthwhile there to make this €100 worth spending. Just 2 machines to go then. Another beige one, HP CD writer, a CD-ROM, Octec inside. What's an Octec, one wonders? Or is that the people who made this? Or Logican, the people who made this? So this is an older machine, we can see from the back. PS2, 2 USB, 2 serial, 1 parallel, some sort of graphics card. Pretty certain this is going to be AGP. In fact, I'm sure this is going to be AGP. This is going to be a LAN card, a sound card of some sort, but it doesn't look like a creative one, and a modem. The last machine I had like this a couple of videos ago was a Pentium 2, and that had a Voodoo 2 and a All64 ISA card in. This one obviously doesn't have the Voodoo 2, but I think it's another P2, guys. Yeah, I think this is another Pentium 2. And in themselves, that means they're worth some money. This one, the screws come off the back, and the whole top comes off the case, not just the side. So we have to take 4 screws out. What do you guys think? What do you think this is? Do you think this is another P2? Slot A P2? Or do you think this is something else? You've got until I take the top off to decide. Yeah, so look at the time on the video now. We've done this before. Put the time, comments below. Now you can cheat, but you're only cheating yourself. Yeah, get your guesses in. Okay, give you a moment or 3 for that. Weather's good, 25 thereabouts degrees. Yeah, it's nice here. Christmas Day is going to be lovely, I think. Hope so. Anyway, well, we've dragged that out as far as we can. I think this is slot A, and oh, there's 2 more screws in the middle. That's unusual these days. A bit longer than you thought, eh? I can be really annoying, can't I, sometimes, guys, when it comes to this, yeah. Oh, damn, I forgot there's a fast forward button. Oh. Okay, P2 slot A, my guess. I'm going to see first, because this lifts off this way. It's a slot A machine. there we have it. Yeah, it is a slot A machine. 2 hard drives, the 2 optical drives, 3 strips of RAM. This motherboard, I really want this, so I'm not going to power it up on the original power supply. I'm going to take this apart and get it onto my bench. Looks like there's a metal strut across here. Is that? No, it doesn't come off, it's riveted on. Let's take this apart and let's get the interesting stuff out of it. So this obviously is the modem card. This has 2 ISA slots. This motherboard. That's one reason why they're so sought after. Yeah, big chunky ISA slot in there. Another ISA slot. So that's the modem thing. Diamond Multimedia. Yeah, Diamond Multimedia. Super Express 56K modem. Super Express. Yeah. This thing will be from the very early 2000s, I would think, around the year 2000s. I think the other one was actually in 98, it could be. This one is a Genius sound card. Okay, not a Creative or 64 gold like the last one was. But hey, that's not a bad thing. Can we get this connected off here without pulling it out of the board? Doesn't want to give it up easily. Yeah, it's giving it up. Okay. Maybe one of those will... No, I was going to say fit that other aero cool thing, but they're too big. I can see somebody's trying to hold the AGP card in with hot snot. I can see what this is. I'm going to show you guys what it is. So this is an S3 Verge CX2. It may be worth something. It may not be worth anything. We can find out. It's an early AGP card. This is the little LAN card. And you can probably see, I'll show you when I take that, there's hot snot all over the AGP slot. I'll pull it off, yeah. Only on the outsides of it, mainly, mainly. I think I'm going to have to take the power supply out to get this out. I will just pause this while I dismantle the rest of the machine. I will be back shortly. We have then, in addition to the modem, which I really don't think is valuable, I haven't really looked for them. This is a 3.2 gig hard drive. It may be worth something. That's an 80, fairly standard. The sound card, the graphics card, and this is the motherboard. So the motherboard says Octec on the BIOS as well. So this is quite possibly the manufacturer. It has a Pentium 2. Let's have a see what it is. It's a well, the heatsink clip is actually covering up the speed, but I can see it's an SL2W8. So from that I can lift up if I need to. All the capacitors look good. So let's put this together and let's power it up and see if it's actually working. I'll just try and clean the dust out of the AGP. Blow the dust out of the AGP. I'm a little bit concerned about the hot snot glue that was on it, but it's obviously been there for a very long time. Okay, we'll bounce it up on something and let's see. It's ready to go. This has a model number on it, by the way. I'll show you. It's on the sticker under here, and it says Rhino 2 BX SATA. So this could be a 440 BX motherboard. If it is, that is rather nice in itself. I believe they are the best of the Pentium 2 and Pentium 3 chipsets. It probably says on the chips as well, actually, but I think it might be a 440BX. That would be nice if it's working. Okay, so power on, and it starts. Doesn't bleep. Okay, so it does power up, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, take the graphics card out, take the RAM out. Okay, this is all rather dusty and dirty. But I doubt that's what stopped it from actually doing anything. But it could have done. Okay, let's try without any RAM. Well, that's a good sign. There's a bit of life. Put one in. Okay, try it. No, it doesn't start. Oh, it does start. Doesn't like it. You don't suppose that's because there's no graphics card, do you? On such an old machine. I'm not quite sure what the codes we would get are on. No, it doesn't do anything again. Okay. Not okay, but that's what it does. Or what it doesn't. Try the one RAM in a different slot. Now what do we get? That's continuous bleep and then the same, okay? That sounds like RAM to me. Start. Yeah. Let's put the post analyzer code in. See if it'll actually give us any codes on the PCI. It may only give them on the ISA. Okay. Let's see what we get. Doesn't want to start again. Oh, it does. C1. That's C1 with one strip of RAM in. Take it back out. Switch it on. C1. Okay. I'll try just cleaning the slots. And I have some life in it, yeah. I have some life in it with just one strip at the moment. I think it was them bleeping to say no graphics card. Doesn't always start on the first touch, but it does always start. Oh. Oh, let's see. Try again. No graphics card. Let's stick the other RAM in and see if it will do the same. Yeah. It's going to boot. No graphics card, fair enough. Try the third one. Okay, once more. It's going to boot. No graphics card. I think I might have had a slightly dodgy connection on this previously. This is the S3 Verge CX2. Stick it in. And what's she going to do? Started. I think she's going to boot. Yeah, I've got a blue light on the monitor. Okay, and we have a picture. Yeah, we have a picture. Pentium 2 at 3. It's a 300 meg Pentium 2. Yeah, 300 megahertz Pentium 2. It's found all the RAM. Okay. Let's put the original hard drive on. I'm thinking that the 3.2 gig is probably the boot drive. Obviously, this is before we had the ATA 66 or whatever they are, the IDE cables with the thinner wires in them. And we have primary IDEs at the end. And there's no key on the cable. That's because it's the wrong end of the cable. Actually, there's no keys in this cable, strangely enough. But I hope it is, yeah, it's kind of like marked, so like, I'm not really sure which way round it goes. I'm just going to find the keyed one. I'll get the other one, yeah, with the keys on. Make no mistakes. Ah, it is marked where I thought it was. Pin 1. 1. This, I am going to put a PS2 keyboard and mouse on it. We're ready to go. Everything's plugged in. Let's, oh no, it's not quite. Almost ready to go. Yeah. That one. Okay. Ready to go. What happens? Starts up. It's booting. Hard drive clicking and clunking. Nice. Blue light on. It's going to power up. Now it has found all the RAM. 393. There's 3 strips. 128 each. I thought it found it all before, but it didn't. Could be 1998 this machine. Press F1. Wrong disk. That might be just telling me that this is not the boot disk, maybe. Let me try the other one. I'll just press the keyboard like it says, yeah. Change the disk. So either the hard drive isn't working, doesn't have the operating system on. Let's try the other one, the 80 gig, yeah. Once again, it's booting. I heard the hard drive reset or do something. Okay. It definitely has all the RAM. It is a 440BX motherboard, lovely. F1. Aha. Windows 98. Yeah. I love the sound of these old hard drives. It found the monitor. Next. It's encrypted in Spanish, but fine. Next. I think it's thinking about something. Yeah. Wait. found some new controller or something. Possibly my mouse, keyboard and monitor it's finding. I don't have the sound card attached at the moment. Okay, oh, a little bit more hardware, printer port, and we have it, I think. Okay, yeah, we'll just take that. It's 1997, guys. I wish it was easy as that to turn back time, yeah. I think for me 97 was a good year, actually. Yes, it was. I recall it. Okay, so we're in Windows 98. This is working. They were using this as recently as 2006, which is not so recently. You can see it there. It's got somebody's stuff on it. I'll shut it back down and just try it again with the sound card fitted. And if it finds all the hardware, I think we can say this one is working. Okay, I'm in the device manager. It's found the sound card. That is actually correct. I've had a look for this sound card. They're worth about £50 apparently, these ISA ones, Yamaha cards or Yamaha chipset. Something didn't like there, but I'm not too worried about it. That's something to do with the energy saving anyway, power saving. The screen adapter S3 Verge, that is there. So that looks good. Here then is the last of the machines. This has two base drives and obviously the front is missing. It has a Windows XP Home Edition license on it. But if we look at the back of it, this is an old machine. We have two serial ports, one parallel, one game port on the motherboard, two USB 2 and a sound card on, and there's some sort of graphics card in here. This actually, strangely enough, on the back of it says 2007, and that seems a little bit older than I would have expected for 2007, very much so. I mean, 2007 we must be looking at like 775s were very common then. So what's in this machine? Well, it's a P4. It's a P4478. That's exactly what it is. A lot of fluff in there. Just get rid of that. ID hard drive. I think we will test this one for sure and see if this one actually powers up. I'm sure this is a Pentium 4. I don't see the manufacturer or the model number of the motherboard. Okay, well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's go on to ohms and we can check from the 12 volts to ground. That's absolutely fine. We'll put the current limiter on. I'll put the other camera where you can see power it up. Well, that behaves normally, so we can power it on. Let's see if this will start. Ah, well, the fan's stuck, but it does. It does, in fact. Oh, it spins. Gathering speed, yeah. It made a bleep. Possibly if I connect the monitor, we'll get a picture on this one. Yeah, blue light came on. There we have it. So this is a 2.4 gig. I can just make that a bit bigger for you. There you go. Pentium 4 2.4 gig. Wants to go into the setup for some reason. Let's get a keyboard. I'll just switch it off because I have a PS2 keyboard, so you can't just attach these, or rather they won't work when you just attach them. You have to switch it off to do it, mostly, if not always. Okay, fan came up, no problem this time. Let's see. It sounds like there's something in one of the optical drives. I can hear it spinning. Interestingly, we didn't get a picture this time. That's it. That's different, yeah. Connect the keyboard and it doesn't give us a picture. Oh, look at that. Connect the keyboard and you don't get a picture. Fun. Try again. I mean, the keyboard light was working. Oh, it's just, yeah, I think the graphics card's a bit loose in this, guys. You can't see me, I'm just pushing down on it a little bit. Okay, try again. Yeah. Well, it's giving us one bleep, but no picture now. I'll take the graphics card out. I'll just give the contacts a bit of a clean. I'll stick it back in again and see if it then works. Let's have some sort of quick release thing on it. We have a picture. Okay, I just reseated it. We have a picture. Half a gig of RAM. CMOS checksum error. Press any key. Delete. Yeah, that'll do. Let's go to the BIOS. Okay. Load optimized defaults. Yes. Save and exit. Yes. See if it boots. Okay. Looks like it's another three. I'm not quite sure. 3.1 gig hard drive or something. Well, now I think it was saying there was no mouse or something like that. Yeah, it's loading. Windows XP. Oh, it looks like the graphics card may have some sort of problem. There's like vertical lines or artifacts on the screen. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you can probably see it down here actually. Some sort of artifacting going on. Yeah, you can probably see it in the icons as well actually. So maybe the graphics card's got a bit of a problem. I'll see if I can just shut this down. I'll try and take the card out of the machine this time and clean it, and then let's see. I ended up putting one of the GeForce FX 5200s in. The graphics card that came with it just isn't happy. It was getting worse if anything. Oh look. Oh look. Yeah, couple of blown capacitors there. And that's unusual for this type of capacitor. Well, let's put that with the motherboard, which we're going to try and recap. And let's recap this as well and see if it works. Just out of interest, I don't think it's worth anything. But it's worth it, the fun of it, just to try, yeah. So let's see if we can find out what this actually is. I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a GeForce 4 MX400, okay? That actually might be worth a little bit. So we have 2.4 gig, as we know, 1 gig of RAM. This one, dispositivos. Nothing much we can say about this, I don't suppose. Everything seems to be working. I'm guessing that's just the name of the PC. Size hard drive do we have? Well, actually it's a 0 hot. That's the DVD, yeah. That's the DVD. Where's the hard drive? Ah, it's there. I knew it must be here somewhere. So it's 120 gig, I would say, in actual fact. There's nothing in that one. One of them I can't get it to eject. No, it says there's nothing in either of them. I just thought I could hear something in there. There is something in the other drive, but the front's missing off it. Right, let's have a look. Actually, it turned out there wasn't anything in the other drive. It is empty. Let's see if we can figure out which motherboard this is and get an idea of what it's worth. But Pentium 4, 478, 30 or 40 pounds, I would think. The motherboard is some sort of generic thing. I'm not really quite sure what it is. It has a number on here, but I've tried looking it up. Didn't find anything. That thing, TSP 005-001, didn't help. No model number on there, but doesn't mean anything. 2002 is the year. That makes more sense than 2007. Maybe this was quite old when this thing was built. And there's there's nothing under it, no numbers. This is not a code. Somebody told me this is some sort of fire safety reference, 94V-0. Somebody told me that on Vogon's forum, actually. So I don't know, possibly Intel or something, some generic motherboard, but it's a socket 478P4, so it's got to be worth about £30. The optical drive is very clean. You can see, just move that away a little bit. Very clean, so that's number 12. And the graphics card, which I may be able to fix, you can see the problem with it now. I'm interested. Fairly confident that will fix it. So this is the GeForce Fall MX400, it actually says on here. And these are selling for about £25, so that's got to be worth just seeing if we can fix it. It's very strange for this type of capacitor to blow like that. It's quite unusual, but we'll see. Yeah, something to play around with. Let's have another look down at this motherboard that won't detect the RAM. The first thing I'll check is whether we have any supply voltage to the RAM. So we'll start it up. Easiest place probably find the supply voltage is the capacitors down by the RAM slots. See if we can find something. Well, this is saying 2.5 volts. I mean, this is old DDR1. I'm pretty sure 2.5 is correct. I can look it up. DDR400 as it's called on modern RAM, it's like 1.5. So we do seem to have a supply voltage down here, which is what we would expect from that sort of RAM, I think. So that's probably coming from some MOSFETs down here. There's nothing in this area as I can see, but there are two MOSFETs here, and this is probably where it comes from. So we can have a look. That's 2.9 volts. That's 3.3. That's a 3.3 volt supply. Is this 5? Well, actually, my meter says overload. I think it's getting a bit confused by that. I'm on volts range as well. Strange for the fluke to do that. Well, switch it off and switch it back on again, the old trick. Yeah. So 3.3, that's a 3.3 volt supply, 5 coming in. So this will be the input on this one, I would think. 5 again, and the output will be over here. Yeah, and that's 2.5. So probably that is the RAM supply. It's the same voltage. Okay, so although they look good. I'm going to replace these capacitors. These seem to be around here. They're going to be on that voltage. I'm pretty sure if I turn it upside down I could check, but just from where they physically are I'm pretty sure. These, so I'm going to change these capacitors in this area. There's a third one there. There are some smaller ones here, and there's another little voltage regulator there. While we're at it, let's have a quick look. So this one has 3.6 volts. Is this going to be like a low voltage one? 1.49, 1.5. That probably supplies this chip, just a guess. And it seems to have a different pin out to the other one. Yeah, that appears to be the ground pin on this one. Yeah. So I'll stick to where I was. I'm going to change these 3 and see if that fixes the problem. I've replaced those 3 capacitors. They were 1000 microfarad, 6.3 volt. So let's power this on again. I looked up on Google. The nominal voltage for DDR400 is 2.6 volts. We had about 2.46, so we were fairly close to that. Let's start this up and then let's just check the voltage again. Then we'll put some RAM in and see if it makes any difference. Okay, so we start it up. Still bleeping. .3 on that one. And we have 2.55. Obviously it's bleeping because there's no RAM in. Let's see if it made any difference changing those capacitors. Well, it doesn't bleep at all now. That's different. That's different. Try in the other slot. That's still bleeping. There's no CMOS battery on. Yeah, that didn't seem to help. That it hasn't helped. Let's try a few other things. Let's actually recap this properly. I don't think this is causing the problem. I've tried reseating the processor. I've tried some more memory strips. So we can recap this properly. We can have a look across all the capacitors here, see if something is broken. I'm sure that would cause this sort of problem. Okay, we can have a look. So we'll just check the sockets first. And they look okay. I really don't see any problems in here. No bent pins or damaged pins. So they look good. Then we have the resistors and capacitors which are around both the DIMM sockets. So let's just check these. I'm just looking for any broken ones. It's not unusual to find some parts that are just not fitted and never were. You can normally tell when they've been desoldered or if they've been broken off. It would be quite difficult to break some down here. There's a little bit of corrosion there, but I don't really think that's enough to cause a problem. Around C180. That one. Must clean the bit of glue off my stick. Better. Yes, there's a little bit of corrosion there, but nothing I would worry about. A little bit on that one as well. I can give this a clean. I mean, there's no harm in cleaning down this side just in case. We can try it. Okay, all looks okay, and then the other side looks much the same. These little things that say 470 are effectively pull down or pull up resistors. Each one has 3 resistors inside, all of them 470 ohms. So that looks good. We know the voltage supply is good. We've changed the capacitors. I actually checked afterwards with my multimeter. In fact, this capacitor is on the 2.5 volt rail, Those two are on the other one, 3.3. The two small ones, I'm not sure what they're on, but they're not on either of those two. Quite probably on the low voltage 1.5 that we saw. Okay, so we can give this side a bit of a clean, but it doesn't look particularly bad. You'll notice that all the tracks which go to the RAM slot on this side effectively just go to the pull-up resistors, and this will be a voltage rail or pull down, whichever it is. I can measure the voltage on there and I could tell you for certain, but it's not really that relevant because we know we have supply here. The ones this side, you'll see all these ziggly zaggly tracks which are made like that, so effectively each one is the same length, so that pulses sent from the CPU signals to the RAM all arrive at the same time. And you can see that all those tracks just go under the CPU socket, they don't go anywhere else. So if we don't see any broken components down here, I will clean it. If that doesn't help, we will try and recap the processor vehicle properly, and if that doesn't help, there's probably not a lot we can really do with this one. But let's try cleaning this up first. I've cleaned off the corrosion just using isopropyl alcohol and a stiff brush, and you can see this is quite clean now, so that bit of corrosion has actually come off. We can just look along again, but everything there looks pretty good to me, to be honest. Nice and clean now, and again on the other side. Okay, those may be 47 ohm resistors, not 470 by the way. Probably the 0 is the multiplier. We could test them. I mean, if we wanted to spend the time, I guess we could measure to ground or to the voltage rail 2.5 from all of these pins on all of them, and see if we can see something that reads different, that maybe represents a broken track going to the CPU. But that is really going quite in depth for a motherboard that isn't really worth a great deal, although I'm sure it looked good on video. Yeah. So let's see if cleaning this helped at all. We are ready then. Power on. I don't think this will make a difference, but yeah, it didn't. It didn't. Okay, so let's try and recap the other voltage rail where we know we have bad capacitors, and we'll make that thing as a last attempt to get this one working. I've replaced the capacitors, they're a little bit higgledy-piggledy. These are actually pulls, but they are the correct value. I had a bag full of them from some scrap motherboard, so I've tested them all with both the ESR meter and the capacitance meter. These are all okay. Let's see if that actually made any difference. I'd be a little surprised if it did, but I've been pleasantly surprised before by things. You know, I'm still learning, same as everybody else, I think. So, yeah, it didn't make any difference. So, I think really the problem here is a communication problem between the processor and the RAM. It could be one of these pull-up resistors. I think they are pull-up. We'll just check that actually, since I mentioned it. One end will connect to the data or address line, and the other end will connect to this voltage rail, which I think is 2.5, but we can have a look actually while we're here. So we can just go on to ground. Let's start this. Okay, it's running. Still stuck on C1, it's going to bleep. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it's 1.27 actually. Be the same on all of them, they're all connected together. Yeah, so that's half of the RAM supply voltage, that's VREF. So on a RAM, whether it's graphics card RAM or motherboard RAM, you have the VRAM and the VREF, and the VREF is half of VRAM. So we also know that VREF is here and present and stable. So if you did want to go further, it would now be maybe measuring the resistance from every single data and address pin, possibly in diode mode to ground, to see if we can see any difference on one of them, and then maybe you'll find you got a broken track going to the CPU socket. Whether you can then fix it is another question. These CPU sockets do effectively come through with pins on the other side, so you may be able to. Again, you can see here all the tracks. We know where the tracks go to. They go under here, yeah. Alright, well, bit of a shame. We learnt a bit of stuff maybe. Couldn't fix that one, or it's probably not economical to go further with it in time. Let's see if we can fix that graphics card. Here's the video card again, the GeForce 4 MX400. It's very unusual for these sort of capacitors to fail, especially like that, to be quite honest, but they have. I don't have any 47010, but I do have some 47016, which are poles. I can test them on my capacitance meter and ESR meter before fitting them. So I'll unsolder these two bad ones, and then let's see if this will work with the replacement capacitors. It's actually these two here. I'll get a little bit of flux on there first to make life easy, and I should be able to add some leaded solder, then just pull these out of the board. Let's have a go. Leaded solder, leaded solder. It's not taking very easily, so I may have to use the hot air to warm the area up, but let's have a go. So I can just get hold of the capacitor basically and pull it out of the board. Just one end, lever it one way, lever it the other way, rocking it backwards and forwards. It's coming, yeah, it's out. So that's one of them. We can take the second one out. Okay, that came out easily. Must be a bit of heat in the area by now. I'm waiting for a new desoldering gun for my vacuum desoldering tool, so let's do this the other way, which is using braid. To do this, it's much easier to first of all warm the area up. You'll have a far better chance of doing this. If you get quite warm first, not enough to particularly melt the solder, but get some heat into that general area, okay? Now I can add some fresh flux. I need to open a new tube. In fact, this is just about used. We get the desoldering braid. This is the Chemtronics. It's the only one I really use because it works. And we should be able to desolder this now. Let's have a go. Go again. Well, it's getting there, but it's not taking the solder out of the hole. Let's try the other one. That came clear. Okay. That one came clear. I bet this one doesn't. Same as the other side. Oh, it does actually. So if I've got that one, I should be able to get this one as well. Once again, get some heat into it. We'll warm it again with the hot air. Okay, get some warmth into it this time. Let's try it again. This time I'm very close. Yeah, I've got it, yeah. So you can do this, guys, with desolder braid. It isn't that difficult. Just do it that way, okay? Otherwise, you really won't have much luck. I can just test these with my ESR and capacitance meter. Really, when you're using pulled components, salvage components, you should do this every time, because the one time you needed to do and you didn't, it's going to cause you all sorts of problems, probably prevent you from fixing something, yeah. So that's very low, it's okay. The other one, very low again, it's okay. And we should check for the capacitance as well. 1 meter. Let's see. It's, yeah, 470, that's close. Other one. Very close, I'm happy with those. I'll put those in then, and then let's see if this works. Because we cleaned the holes properly, they fit in nicely. Okay, yep, there we have them. And soldering them, again, is pretty much the same as before. I'll just tag them a little bit with a bit of solder so they don't fall out of the board. Even if I just solder one end. Okay. Now again, you'll have trouble getting the solder to take. It's got that leg. It's got that leg. So once more, same thing. You need to use something like a BC3 tip. You see me using this all the time. Even for micro soldering, I very rarely use anything else. Okay, so we have some heat in it, and now we can solder it. It will solder. Okay, that end, and I can come back on the ones that I kind of tagged now. Just get some heat. Okay, it's not soldering very well. A little bit of fresh flux. That's definitely the last of that stuff. Okay. Yeah, that's great. A little bit too much solder on that one actually, guys. Let's just clean it off a little bit. Just wiping the iron against the sponge. Yeah. They're okay. They look okay. Let's get an AGP motherboard and test it. This is an old socket 478 Pentium 4 board that I keep as a test rig. It's working. It has a lot of silver paint on the motherboard, so I can't sell it. But it did come from the car boot, actually in a ATX case that somebody had sprayed silver without taking the stuff out of it first. That's why you don't do that, yeah. But it's not conductive paint, so it works fine. We'll switch it on. Let's see what it does. Well, it starts. I have a blue light on my monitor. I can show you. One moment. It's there. I did get the splash screen. It was not corrupted like you saw it previously. I'll just switch this off again. And this time you can see it. Okay. Nice and clean now. There were artifacts all over it before. I think with this one I'll just keep hold of the graphics card. We have some more computers to look at very soon, and I'll give it a proper test on one that has a hard drive with an OS on there. But I'm confident that that is now actually working. The only thing left then is this all-in-one cooler. I believe it's for Intel processors. There's a little bit of damage on the radiator, but I don't think it's actually like damaged the pipes, if you like. I think they've figured it inside. I've been told the only thing that really goes wrong with these is that the pump fails. So I think on this motherboard that we're using as a test rig, we have at least places where we can connect the pump to. And let's see if it actually does anything. So I will switch this off. And I will attach the pump. I'm guessing it just goes to the normal fan connector. I really don't know much about these. It fits, that's for sure. So that one can go there. Is there any more apart from the CPU fan on this motherboard? No, it looks like that's the only system fan connector on there. Doesn't matter. And I'm guessing we'll hear the pump if it works. Let's see what it does, if anything. Yeah, I heard it spin. Okay, and the red lights come on. So I guess really I have to put this against something hot. I'm not sure if I want to risk many CPUs, but to see whether it actually conducts heat away. Maybe I can just tell with the thermal camera. Let's see if we can see anything. Okay guys, I had a quick look on how to test an all-in-one or AIO. I've never actually had the pleasure to use one before. But without attaching it to a CPU, I think I've come up with a way to prove this actually works. So if you look now where I'm putting my finger in here, this is the actual copper pad, if you like, the heat sink itself, and that is there. And we can see that it's about, that's my finger, 36, about 25 degrees. Yeah, I think you can see that on the phone where I'm pointing at there. About 25, yeah. So if I warm this thing up with my hot air, yeah, I mean we should get some heat into it, yeah. And then I'm going to take the hot air away and see how quickly it cools down, basically. Does it effectively pull heat out of this? And yeah, it does. If I just tilt it, this is the metal frame you can see here. It's hot, yeah, but that's the actual copper. There, okay. So you can see the actual frame of this got quite hot, but the copper is just cooling down. It's cooling down quite rapidly. So I am of the opinion that this actually works. I can feel a little bit of warmth in the radiator. There's hardly anything, to be honest. I don't have the fans running at the moment, but it does seem to be the case that it pulls heat out of this. It doesn't stay hot, and I would have thought that a lump of copper, if I heat it up, it will stay hot, yeah, unless the heat is being drawn away from it, and that's why I think this is working. Yeah, it's that purple coloured bit, the cool bit. And again, you can see the temperature's dropping. Yeah. I can't think of a better way other than actually attaching it to a CPU. Look, it's back down to 27 degrees. So that is definitely sinking heat away. Therefore, I'm pretty confident that is actually working. So guys, we've come to the end of that. You can see we've made some money. That's a good thing. Not as much as I thought we might when I first got hold of this batch of PCs for €100, but not bad. I think maybe the all-in-one, which says LEPA on it, I'm guessing that's the brand. I couldn't actually find one on eBay, but I think it's probably worth about £30 as a used one, although almost certainly if it does work and the fans are working, this will end up in my new build, which is the i7-7700K that I got the CPU and the motherboard from the car boot for €30 a few weeks ago. Yeah, anyway, you'd think that's the end of this video, and it is. We've made some money. You can see the total on the screen. I hope you agree with that, but there's a little extra to this story. So I bought this stuff at the car boot on the 18th of December. There is no car boot on either Christmas Day or New Year's Day because they are public holidays here. But I got a phone call on Christmas Eve, and this is the guy who you saw me buy all this lot off for 90. He had my phone number a few weeks ago at the car boot and said, "Oh, if I find anything, I'll let you know." So because there wasn't one for a few weeks, I thought you never know, he might, and he did. He called me on Christmas Eve and sent me a few pictures to say, "I found some old computers for you." So I'll just show you what we have, and this is stuff we're going to have a look at on the next car booting, probably shortly after the new year or around the new year, I would think. Okay, let me just show you on the mobile phone, it's on the other side of the room, what we have. So I think we hit the jackpot this week, guys. We have all these computers. all these, and a Yamaha tuner amp. So you can see what we have. I'm fairly confident most of these are 486s or something even older maybe. You can see them, a whole stack of them down here in the middle of the shot, which are all basically the same little logo on them all. Another one there, the same as those. Some different ones. Okay, an old server of some sort, and a machine that's kind of like in bits, but it looks like a Pentium 4478. So that's what I have. We have an agreement really that anything he finds, if I want it, is €15 for these sort of machines. So I ended up, out of this lot, 12 of them I actually paid for at €15 each. So that's €180, which is the most I've ever spent on car boot stuff. And then the server, this one, which is pretty much incomplete. This one in the middle, and the Yamaha tuner amplifier, natural sound AV receiver. He gave me those for free. So we have 12 machines for €180. You can start guessing, guys, at what we may have here, but I think it's going to be rather interesting. And as I say, that will be the next car booty video sometime around the new year. I'm quite excited at getting stuck into that lot, so it may be sooner than you think. They are very tempting to have a look to see what I have. I haven't touched them yet since Christmas Eve, so get your guesses in, that's all I can say. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed the mega car booty. I hope you think it was a worthwhile thing to do, and I will see you all soon on another Learn Electronics Repair video.